What's that? And good Wednesday evening, basketball fans, and welcome back to another episode of High School Basketball in the Heartland here on your home for high school sports, and that is 810varsity.com. But before we get rolling this evening, friends, I have some terrible news that I feel I need to share with you right now. Friends, the game tonight, the DiRenna All-Star game that is set to tip off at 7:30, well, it will be the final high school basketball game in both Kansas and Missouri this school year. Yes, this is the last one, the conclusion of what has been an absolutely epic season. Tonight, we close the 24-25 chapter and reflect on the season that was. I kind of almost feel like we need a moment of silence. But you know what, basketball fans? I can't be quiet, neither can the hundreds of fans sitting around the gym here at Mill Valley right now. We cannot be quiet because the excitement of what's about to happen is at fever pitch. It's palpable, made even more so after the events of last Friday. Yes, tonight's game was originally scheduled to happen last Friday, but due to some backboard, we'll call it malfunction, PJ Moore, the game at St. Thomas Aquinas High was not going to happen. That's when Mill Valley head boys basketball coach Kurt Bangle, along with Mill Valley athletic director, never fails. I don't know. My timing is absolutely horrible. Sometimes we deviate a little bit from the schedule. But as I was saying, friends, we can't be quiet because the excitement of what's about to happen is a fever pitch tonight. It's palpable, made even more so after the events of last Friday. Yes, tonight's game was originally scheduled to happen last Friday, but due to the backboard malfunction, PJ Moore, the game at Aquinas was not going to happen. That's when Mill Valley head boys basketball coach Kurt Bangle, along with Mill Valley athletic director Brent Bouchard, went to work. Calls and texts were made, favors called in, arms twisted, bags of money deposited in offshore accounts. Just kidding. And the result of all that effort, a new host for the 2025 Boys DiRenna All-Star Game right here at Mill Valley High. It was a remarkable effort in such a short amount of time to help ensure these student athletes who we're about to see have one more game, an opportunity to play against some of the best talent in the region. And the 2025 DiRenna Boys All-Star Game, it's happening right now. And we are live from Mill Valley in beautiful Shawnee, Kansas. Stick around. We'll be right back with tip-off next on 810varsity.com.
Get a shake with your points and some fries on the side with your points.
You get more with every order.
Woo! Get a Whataburger or a patty melt or some breakfast with the points.
You get more with every order.
Get a biscuit or a brownie, but no matter what you pick, you get more.
Like your favorite Whataburger or whatever, 'cause it all gives you more with Whataburger rewards.
We are moments away from tip-off. The Kansas and Missouri DiRenna All-Stars are about to give us one last show. And you know what, friends? You are going to have one of the best seats in the house this evening. A crow's nest view of all the action all night long. Right here in your home for high school sports, 810varsity.com. My name is Sean Brewer, and throughout this evening I'll be joined by kind of a who's who's of some of the best coaches in the region that the region has to offer, as well as this young man sitting to my right. That is current Mill Valley assistant basketball coach Andrew Bach. Or should I kind of call you that do-all, because you kind of got your hands on a little bit of everything here at Mill Valley, a multi-sport coach and certainly kind of an aide-de-camp here for the Jaguars.
Yes, sir. I mean, I'm privileged to be here. I am not one of the best coaches, but as an assistant, maybe I am. I don't know, but I'm known as AB around here, and privileged to be here with you, Sean. This is amazing.
Well, ABC is what we're trying to get at this evening. Going to make it nice and simple for all the viewers at home watching from afar. Right now, the respective teams from Missouri and Kansas are going through the introductions. Now we will go through each one of these players and tell you about their background and kind of what the future holds for them down the road throughout this game. Now, a little bit different format tonight, a couple of house cleaning things, but the first thing, if you were joining us for the girls' DiRenna All-Star game at Aquinas last Friday night, you'll recall that there were 4 12-minute quarters of a running clock. Well, because we only have one game tonight, plus the three-point contest at halftime, they're going to mix things up a little bit. We're going to go with 4 10 full-minute quarters for the duration of this game. And the officials are making their way out to midcourt, clearing the court and waiting for the respective teams to come out. We'll tell you the starting 5 for each of those teams when they hit the court, Coach. Nice turnout here at Mill Valley under the circumstances, of course, after the calamity, the backboard issue at Aquinas.
We'll take it. I mean, to get these guys playing here in our gym is amazing, Sean. So it's a privilege to even have these guys in the building, and we'll take a broken backboard for that to happen.
Well, how about Van Collins, 6'4" guard out of Shawnee Mission Northwest. Also number 30, Nick Anderson, a Falcon for Coach Dan Mauro out of Olathe South. One of the other starters for Kansas. Evan Riley out of Shawnee Mission Northwest as well. Now you're going to hear a lot of Cougars tonight. Keaton Wagler, Keaton Wagler, Van Collins, Avian Riley. We got a guy named Tyler Salmon, one of the best shooters in the state, here with us this evening. But jumping is going to be the aforementioned Tyler Salmon. 6'7", he's a big fella, and the tip is going to go to the control of Kansas to get things going. Behind that is Keaton Wagler, arguably one of the top players in all of Kansas. He's going to be taking his skills to Champaign in Illinois.
Not
to
on
play
that one.
Exactly, a little bit off the mark. So here's Corbin Allen. He's another one of those superstars. You're going to hear a lot about him throughout the evening. Nice soft touch. As I believe it was Leo Gaiman. A little behind the back, little razzle to the dazzle.
A little bump there.
How about that? Now, if you're looking for one of these games that, very technically sound and fundamentally strong games, well, friends, you're probably turning into the wrong program here. This is an all-star game. These young men are going to play hard, as we've seen that already. But really, this is just kind of a showcase to, they're really at this point in the season, Coach, they're all friends. Yes,
Absolutely.
they had some heated battles throughout the season, but it was great to see before the game a lot of these players, giving each other hugs and high fives.
Certainly was, and I don't mean to insult Wagler. That guy is one of the best players in the state, and it just didn't work out on the first play for him. And Van Collins, we know all about him in the Sunflower League. Elite mid-range game and a great pass right there, and that's on brand for him. He said he was going to play some defense in tonight's game. We'll see.
Well, indeed, and he's playing some offense, and you're exactly right, Coach. Tyler Salmon, the recipient of that beautiful pass. Now here's Sully Mohammed out of Blue Springs South for Coach Josh Smith. Big 6'8" fella. Early on, 7-0 in favor of the team in purple.
A little Kansas State.
Yeah, that's kind of Kansas State, and Mizzou vibes based on their uniforms.
Big time shot by Wagler.
You know, I say it almost every time I have an opportunity to put on a headset. You know, and it's so true though. But the great players, you watch them and the game just kind of slows down for them. It looks like they're going in slow motion. They're just so efficient with everything that they do. Great court vision as well. Here's Romello Smith. He's going to be featured in the three-point contest at halftime. More on that in a little bit. Outside shots. Cam Jones make it 10. I think we have the scores mixed around here. We're gonna reset those. I'm not sure if they're gonna make the change on the scoreboard, or we might be able to do that for you. You know what? We're gonna do that for you through the magic. Big shout out to Hayden Kello, man up top, and also our producer extraordinaire. How about that? I wish it was that easy with my bank account where I could just sort of move numbers around, but that's certainly not the case. Dead eye. That doesn't go down for Keaton Wagler. But good hustle by Corbin Allen. I had a chance to visit with him before the game. Ask him if we're going to have an announcement of his next stop in his basketball career.
Cam Jones again.
Cam Jones, a beautiful shot. Corbin Allen tells me that he has not decided yet. You know, after the news, especially like out of Baylor, where they're going to lose their entire team. There's so many moving parts. What is so unique about high school athletics and into college, but so many of these top flight players really kind of have to wait to see where the proverbial chips fall, or the dominoes, if you will, on a lot of these programs.
Absolutely, especially in this NIL era where the transfers and everything has opened up so many things in terms of these freshmen coming in have a hard time getting into some of these programs. Van Collins, nice play off 2 feet.
That's ridiculous. Van Collins, 6'4", playing like he's about 7'4". He's not supposed to be able to do that in the lane against the big fellas from Mizzou. Here's Van Collins getting it done on both ends of the court. A little quick out pass, Avon Riley.
Imagine that, these Northwest Cougars shining early in this game.
Tightening back up, 3-point spread, Missouri by 3, 12-9. We have a next 5 coming in for the Missouri squad. And the official is going to signal in the next crew. Now, I can assure you that throughout this game, we're going to have 40 minutes of real clock and not a running clock, so we'll have plenty of time to talk about every one of these student athletes, whether they're on the court or not. But here is Jalen Watson. Jalen Watson is one of the most eccentric players that I have seen in quite some time. If, you know, by virtue of what he wore tonight, those big puffy pink, whatever they were, the boots, but he was rocking it. Somehow he was pulling it off and pulling down that rebound for Missouri. Number 42, Leo Gaiman, for Coach Chad Jones, who's also the head coach of the Missouri squad. Circles the drain in and out, and here, the hometown hero.
There he is.
Mr. Carter Kafis, one of a long family tree of outstanding athletes. Carter has it out on the right wing. That might be a little bit too close for him based on some of the shots that he's made this past year, including one to defeat Shawnee Mission Northwest just at the first of the year. Ooh, a little razzle-dazzle. Handles, but he did lose it on the pass. Coach, you know, you talked about a couple of these players saying, look at there, from long range. London Burton out of St. Thomas Aquinas for Coach Jay Coopersmith. Averaged 15 points this year, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 assists.
And the big fella.
Look at him.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, I saw J.J. Lee for the first time at a the Great American Bank DeSoto Wildcat Classic. Am I saying that right? Apologies to Coach Rice. Michelle Majors over there. But J.J. Lee, I saw him on the court, and I thought, what is this college player doing? You know, is this like a football player for Coach Saban? I mean, he is a big man.
He really is.
He's got a lot of displacement, Coach.
He is tough to keep off the glass, almost impossible, and you got to bring multiple guys crash down on him, and they got us in the regular season this year in Northwest, and he's obviously a big reason why.
You know, big fella like that. I talked to him over at Aquinas, and I said, hey, have you decided where you're going to go? And he said, he's going to go to Hutch.
Big time
and I said,
move
well,
right there.
what are you going to play? Are you going to play baseball, or excuse me, basketball or football? And he said he's all about basketball, and, you know, getting with the right coach that could potentially develop some of those skills.
There he is on the pick and roll,
Look
and a
at
nice
there.
block.
And he'll learn to protect that ball a little bit more. I think he right now is sort of a product of just being big. Throughout his short playing career, he hasn't had to worry about too many people getting up there and swatting it away.
Watson, he is absolutely fearless and so elusive in transition, and you got to tag him if he gets away like that too late.
You know, we saw him at the game when Lathan North came in here, and they jumped out to, what was it, like a 78-point lead in that first quarter. A lot of that was because
there's
of him.
Our boy right there.
And there's the equalizer, number 4-2. That is Mr. Carter Cafis. He'll be in the three-point contest at halftime as well here at Mill Valley High. Cale Mortimer, or I beg your pardon, that Jalen Watson a little bit off, but going to the other, or excuse me, it was Mortimer. Will Beck could not finish. Kick out to Burton again, and he's got the hot hand.
He certainly does. A great find by Watson.
Jake Cooper-Smith has enjoyed having Landon Burton on his squad. As I mentioned earlier, Burton's going to be going to Rockhurst. He's been a 3-year starter at Aquinas as well. 5A honorable mention, first team EKL.
And Leo Gaiman, a nice job on the other end, fronting the big fella.
Could not finish. Not for lack of try. Will Beck has it taken away. A pull-up three from top of the key. He drains it.
What a start for the Missouri side here.
Caleb Estes. Now, how would you like to be Caleb Estes or Zeke Brown for Oak Park? You know, in their own right, they could certainly start and star on pretty much any other team in the Metro. But, oh, yeah, they got Corbin Allen as a teammate. Well, look at that. Had to get way up, climb the ladder. Caleb Estes. For Coach Sharon Collins.
Yes, sir.
KU great. Caleb was a Class 6 All-State selection, All-District selection as well. He's being courted by a number of suitors: University of Nebraska at Kearney, Drury, St. Mary University, Missouri Southern. He, too, is another one of those athletes that are just kind of waiting for things to shake out through the transfer portal and see where everybody else signs before making a determination. Ooh, nice baseline drive. Can't get that to go. Des Hintzer, excuse me. Oh, Jade Lang, the Wildcat. The other team out of 232 here in Kansas. Mill Valley and DeSoto, both in the DeSoto School District. Jade Lang playing for Coach Matt Rice. Matt Rice, phenomenal coach and even a better man. Jade Lang was kind of the heart and soul of that Wildcat team this year, 17-point average. You think, boy, he's, you know, based on his size and kind of that smoothness, coach, you think, well, he's going to have, he's picking the litter. Where does he want to go? He's going to have some offers. Well, he did have some basketball offers, but he's not going to play in college.
That is surprising. And he jumps out on film for that DeSoto team, mostly his athleticism, his passion for the game, and he had a big game against us this year in this building.
Absolutely. He could not miss in the paint. But he is Jaden Lang, excuse me, who we're talking about. There's another three, a little bit short, right side, P.J. Moore. P.J. Moore, more on him in a little while. All in fun, of course. Not sure if he's developed a nickname yet.
Oh, what a block there.
I mean, P.J. Moore.
My goodness.
A whole new, really kind of he redefines crashing the boards. P.J. did exactly that just a few days ago at Aquinas, which leads to us being right here.
Oh, so he was the one.
He was the one.
Wow.
Look at that. Sharon Woodbury.
Big time. We know all about Woodbury in the Sunflower League again, Olathe West.
For Coach Brad Ball, averaged 16 points. He's going to be attending Amherst University in Amherst, Massachusetts, home of the Fighting Mammoths. Coach Brad Ball says that Sharon is an excellent shooter and defender, and we've seen that so far. He's a combo guard that can kind of run the show or play off the ball. One of the hardest workers on the team, 4-year letter winner. and heavily involved in service to his school and community. Love to hear that. Got to call that every time.
And Leo Gaiman out of Park Hill, he is having a huge first half here, or excuse me, first quarter. But Gaiman has stood out down low, playing against J.J. Lee as well on the Kansas side. He was fronting him in the post. So we did see some defense tonight.
For those of you just joining us, you might think, oh, is this a third quarter score, maybe a second quarter? No. 2 seconds left, and now none after 1 quarter of play. 31 for Mizzou, 21 for the Kansas boys. 10 minutes in the books. Start of quarter number 2 next when we come back. Live from Mill Valley, you're watching the DiRenna All-Star Game, live and only on A10Varsity.com.
Well, I guess they might.
31-21, 10-point spread for the team from the other side of the state line. We're in Kansas here at Mill Valley High School, home of the Jaguars. When do you want to come on? Oh, whenever. 5 minutes? Sure. And there's Zeke Brown, formerly out of Lawrence Free State. Saw him in an A10 varsity showcase over at Lee Summit West as a freshman. And he's one of those guys that absolutely kind of jump off the screen, no pun intended, but he's got some ups. He's got a little bit of wiggle and jiggle.
Absolutely. Little curl play there.
Kalen Eskew, number 44 Eskew, the winner of the slam dunk competition on Friday night at Aquinas. So against some pretty tough competition. Xavier Kirkwood out of North Kansas City, home of the Hornets. Legendary head coach Ed Fritz sitting behind us. Hope to have him on the broadcast in a little while. My goodness. Mr. Lewis for Coach Adam Jones out of Blue Springs. And Woodbury.
Woodbury quickly the other way there.
How about Des Henson?
Missouri hitting everything right now.
Out of Park Hill South for Coach Max Solers. He averaged 19 points on the season. He's going to be going to Pratt Community College down in South Central, Southwest Kansas for his first year in college ball. Little fadeaway, soft touch. P.J. Moore. P.J. Moore for Coach Steve Wallace out of Piper High. First team All-State, All-UKC, and the UKC Player of the Year. One of the big reasons that Piper found their way back to Emporia this past spring as well as the year before. Runner-up 2 years ago. Third place finish this past March. A lot of fun to watch him.
Absolutely.
P.J. Moore, over 1,000 points in his career and over 50 wins. Now that you think, well, that's probably not too important or too impressive, but you start doing the math, 50 wins, dang impressive over the course of his career.
Yeah, his motor is so good, and the pace they play at Piper with that team, he is obviously a huge part of it, and maybe the driving force with his energy and his game, the way he rebounds the ball, and he just fills up the whole stat sheet.
39-28, Missouri by 11. Second quarter, 7:50, 49 left. Until halftime, as a reminder, at halftime we will have the A10 Varsity three-point contest for your viewing enjoyment. We got 8 of the best three-point shooters across the metro area going to face off tell you a little bit more about that format at halftime. Here's Tyler Salmon. Salmon, you know, obviously he's a fantastic shooter. He can get it done inside, but he's such a smart player.
Absolutely.
And Van Collins.
That was Riley with the shot, but these Cougars with their team chemistry are out here. And you're right about Salmon and Van Collins. They're really role players for that team, and yet at any given moment they're stars. So that's a big part of the reason why they're back-to-back state champs.
Back-to-back state champs kind of rolls into a lot of superstars. We got 4 of the Cougars from Shawnee Mission Northwest on the roster. Tyler Salmon, Avon Riley, Van Collins, Keaton Wagler. Coach Birch has it going on down the road at Shawnee Mission Northwest. And here's Corbin Allen, the 2024 DiRenna Award winner.
My goodness.
Look at that big fella, Mr. Eskew getting up there. Eskew played for Coach Billy Thomas at Rockhurst. 6'7", 16 points a game. Almost as impressive as 3.8 GPA on a 4.0 scale.
And there was that Zeke Brown kid again making plays for the Missouri side. Whoa.
Are you kidding me? What is this vertical? Nick Anderson. That was just ridiculous. Oh, and he had an opportunity. There
Back
it
to him.
is. Oh, Nick Anderson thought it was going to go to the right. But underthrew him, but here's Anderson, picks it off again. He'd like to get him one of those. Ooh, look at that nice move underneath by Van Collins.
Van's got to take his time on that one the
There
other way.
it
Look
comes.
out. Whoa.
Are you kidding me? The Go-Go Gadget shoes are enforced tonight at Mill Valley. Mr. Eskew, hello. I didn't see a ladder over there, but he made it look like he was climbing one. He's an absolute freak in the best possible way. He's going to be attending Rockhurst University. He goes from Rockhurst High to Rockhurst U, just up the road. Coach Billy Thomas says that he's not afraid to take a three-pointer when he needs to.
Oh, big time shot right there.
Tyler Salmon, are you kidding me?
Cougars keeping Kansas in the game a little bit here.
Tyler Salmon, you know, he averaged 11 a game, 6.7 frame, but how about this? 4.45 GPA. 4.45 GPA. I probably would have had a 4.5 GPA on an 8-point scale. All these schools seem to have a little bit different GPA systems, so you can kind of hide some of those not so great scores. Wish I would have had that. Underneath on the baseline, good hustle. Nick Anderson falls out of bounds. Ball's going to stay in possession of Missouri. Quick little break in the action allows us an opportunity to welcome in one of the hosts of the evening. That is Mill Valley Boys head basketball coach, Kurt Bankel. Coach, my man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Hey, you know what? Everybody in this building right now and those watching at home ought to be saying thanks to you for making this game possible tonight. Way to step up. That was a pretty remarkable effort.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was one of those unfortunate events. You don't ever want to see that, but, you know, as everyone's standing around trying to figure out what's going on, we're glad we were able to do something. So it worked out.
Well, right place at the right time. Certainly the praise for you and this facility, the school as a whole, has been over the top, and it's a great thing for the school, certainly, and kind of hung up there.
Trying to get some highlights in here.
Goodness.
There's actually some legit defense happening here.
Despite the score, you know, we were talking about that too in the first quarter. It's 45-37 in favor of Missouri. Now, which was pretty typical of an all-star game, but you're exactly right. These boys are getting after it a little bit.
Yeah, they're not wanting to give up anything. I know there's a few groups here that there's guys that have played each other quite a bit over the years, and they want that chip of Kansas versus Missouri. So
bragging rights are on the line, and there it is.
There's a guy we know. Oh.
Well, hey, you expect that to go in.
Oh,
like
yeah, all the time.
some
he's
people
got the greenest of light that we've had in this program. Good follow-up.
Of course, that is Carter Cafis, number 42, walking his way up the court again. We'll see him in the three-point contest. Not sure how you talked him into doing that.
Well, I think he just knew that he wanted to have one more chance to shoot at his own place.
Right.
So.
I was talking to Chad a couple of days ago. I said, we really need to have kind of that bonus, that novelty shot from around 39
the Cafis
feet.
Spot.
Yeah, the Cafis shot for like 3 points in the three-point contest at halftime. How many times has he made that? But here's big J.J. Lee underneath.
And he's a load.
He is a big boy. When you talk about raw, he is certainly that. I'm curious to see, when he gets down to Hutch and starts to develop and refine his skills, coach.
Yeah, he's got all the little intangibles, good feet, good hands. He just, he needs, obviously, he's huge, so he's got to make sure he's able to be moving. So he's going to keep working on that. He's a load. We saw him the last couple of years. So our league, we've had some amazing size the last couple of years. Our team had it 2 years ago. Shawnee Mission Northwest with their 7-footer, him. It's almost like we got college lineups every night.
It's ridiculous, yeah.
I know the Missouri side's got their guys too. We don't get to see them as much, but maybe now we picked up 3 extra games in the regular season, we'll get to see that a little bit more. Because I'm impressed with this kid here, 45.
Going back the other way, here comes Avian Webb. Finds on the right side, that is Romello Smith. He's usually money from out there, a little bit off the mark, going the other way. Almost pulled his foot up, but he was able to stick with Will Beck out of Shawnee Mission East for Coach Sean Hare. Averaged 19 points this year from long range.
He'll do that.
Halfway to DeSoto. Jalen Watson.
All of a sudden, it's a 5-point game.
Seen him do that a few times in this gym over the years, Coach.
Yeah.
Including an epic game just a couple of 3 months ago between your Jaguars and Olathe North, where they couldn't miss in that first quarter.
No.
And he was a large part of that.
Yeah, they've done that for a few years. They just haven't been able to get our number in the full game.
Right.
But they've had some games where they got a few special players. But, it's fun getting to see all these guys get one more opportunity to play here in the Metro. Our basketball in the Metro is just unreal. I mean, you can see with a bunch of state champions are from around the city, and a few of these guys are big parts of that. Another big shot there.
Well, and you talk about, the quality of play in the Kansas City area, and that's, no more evidence by the amount of Division I talent. Obviously Keaton Wagler, one of the best players in the state and the Midwest. And we've got some others. Carter Cafis has to decide where he's going to be attending school next year, but, and we've talked about this. He gets into the right program, and the sky is truly the limit for that young man.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's 17 years old. Probably the youngest kid out here. He really is a junior playing in this. He was just started a little early. But, this whole Metro, we've got guys that are – it's the unfortunate transfer right now. We got a lot of guys that don't know where they're going to end up. Or some guys are going to go to places where I think 10 years ago, a lot of these guys used to have a solid – maybe a D1 or a mid-major, and now, some of these guys, their levels are slightly lowered, or from what, outsiders think. There's a lot of good programs, a lot of good levels, but, 10 years ago, these guys would have been all over everywhere, but transfer portals changed a lot. So
you hear what happened like down at Baylor. They're looking for a whole new team.
Yeah.
Obviously a couple of graduates and one going to pros, but everybody else saying see you later. And, talk to us, if you will, about, some of your star players, like a Carter Cafis, that really, he has offers. And what a beautiful shot again.
Wow.
He's just ridiculous, Jalen Watson. But, the decisions that these young men have on where to attend college, so much of where they're going to go, or their decision-making process is really on hold based on how the whole NIL and the transfer portal and all that's going to shake out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate the way things. I mean, I think coaches are trying to figure out how. Ooh, almost another big one. Trying to figure out where. Back and forth. And one.
London Burton. That was nasty. How do you stay in the air so long?
Athletic, and I mean, shoot, they got number 12. Who's that? Romello Smith. I've heard about him. I've heard about him, a lot over this past year or two.
Sure.
And man, I didn't know he could get up like that. He was about ready to put a crazy highlight on that end. But yeah, we got a tight game here. This is what you want to see in an all-star game.
All tied up at 50. Final 35 seconds left before halftime.
Oh, whoa.
A travel call.
All-star game.
Might have respectfully disagreed out there, but hey,
Yeah.
not too much of an issue with the officiating, certainly. Good to see that. Everybody just kind of smiling and laughing it out a little bit. Even the officials getting in on some of the fun.
Yeah. You know, I think it would be hard to just run up and down and not do a whole lot. So I'm sure they want to
Oh, absolutely.
mentally be locked into this too.
Going back the other way, a little razzle-dazzle
Throw it
coming
up.
your way. Off the
There
back.
we
They make it look so easy. How'd you like to be a Caleb Estes, the second or even the third best player on that team? Are you kidding me?
go. Yeah, Oak Park was just unreal. We watched them on film a few times because they played Shawnee Mission Northwest, and they were hot early on in that season. Gave Shawnee Mission Northwest a game. But,
Ryan.
man, yeah, there's a reason why they were champs, and he's a big part of that.
Another fade away, and that one doesn't go. 1 second, and we're going to go into the halftime break with a Mizzou 2-point lead, 52-50. As a reminder, we will have the three-point contest here in the next couple of minutes. Brought to you by 810 Varsity. Chad Rader in the house, making sure all the proverbial I's are dotted, T's are crossed. Shooters are going to have a little bit of time to warm up before they take their spots on the floor. They'll have 45 seconds per shooter. As a reminder, there's 4 shooters from each squad, from Missouri and 4 from Kansas. The highest point total shooter from each state will advance to the final round for a winner-take-all round. And those four shooters, where are those 4 shooters? I'm going to tell you who those 4 shooters are because I've got them written down here. Now, Coach, are we going to have you back here in the third quarter for a little while as well?
Yeah, I'll gladly come over here. I'm just hanging out, enjoying some basketball. So I know there was a lot of change up when trying to get this to be a smooth night. So
Right.
So far, so good. Good game. And hopefully this we get to see who the best shooter in the city is. So that'll be pretty good.
And some of those best shooters going to be on display in the next couple of moments here. Mello Smith out of Raytown, Kale Mortimer out of Liberty, Avian Webb out of Staley, and out of Park Hill, Leo Gaiman from the Missouri side. For Kansas, that's going to be Tyler Salmon, Carter Cafus right here out of Mill Valley, Sharon Woodbury out of Olathe West, Avian Riley out of Shawnee Mission Northwest. And we are underway. First shooter, that is Avian Webb out of Staley for Coach Chris Neff. Coach Neff in the house. Maybe I saw him earlier. Got one more from straight on as he steps back.
I think he's at 4.
Once he finds that stroke. It's down to 4 more. Lets her rip from the right corner. It's a spot he likes. Makes the first. Makes number 2. He's got 2 balls left. Make it 3. We're going to get 4 in a row to finish it out. And we do.
That was a great way to finish that one. I think he finished with around 11.
Avian Webb. He has a number of suitors as well. UMKC, Central Missouri, Graceland, Johnson County. 17 points, first round.
I guess they're going off with some different calculations than mine.
I think
My
so.
simple
Yeah.
brain can comprehend.
Next shooter we have is Leo Gaiman. For head coach Chad Jones, former head coach of Park Hill, retiring after this season. Leo Gaiman, 6'6", 18-point average, 3.75 GPA. Hasn't quite found his stroke yet. 4 balls from each location. There he is, from dead on, top of the key, making it look easy. Back iron rejects.
You know, it's really hard to get it. You know, the thing with the time puts a lot of pressure on you. And that's what these guys are realizing in shooting like this, especially in a fishbowl.
Well, that's exactly right. In a gym he's not really used to playing.
Yeah.
Gaiman's got one more shot. Lets it go.
Dang.
Gets that one down. That is 11 right now. Avian Webb out of Staley is the early leader for the Missouri squad with 17. How about Cale Mortimer out of Liberty for head coach Joe Price? 5'10" guard, averaged 20 points a game this past season. Class 6 all district. And hey, he shoots 46%.
I was going to say, he can really light it up.
Got a beautiful looking stroke. He's worked on that a lot over the years. Great follow through.
There it is.
Get there. That's easy money for number 2. Cale Mortimer. Playing in a brutal conference up there for Liberty. You know, you got North KC, Oak Park, Park Hill South and Central. Gets the bounce and the roll in. He's got 9, maybe 10, still at 9. He's got 4 more.
He's better get this thing running. This is where that time plays a factor.
5
Can't just casually
seconds.
shoot. Gotta get the one up.
2, he's
Buzzer
gonna have to
beater.
hurry.
And, oh,
I don't think he got that one off, Coach.
I don't think so.
Gonna give him a total of 15.
And that's where sometimes in these you kind of trying to really hone in your shot and the speed. You know,
Right.
that's why they put the time up there. They want you to really go with it. So here's Romello.
Out of Raytown for Coach Cody Buford, 24-point average this year. 2 of his first 4. 4, beg your pardon. Looking for 5. He's got the hot hand.
All right, they're counting that last one as the money ball. So
1,700 career points, Coach.
yeah, he can fill it up. And I've seen highlights of him play and some of the games, and glad we didn't have to see him.
Especially here, because he's kind of got a feel for your
Yeah.
goals here. Kind of short arms it. He's got 4 more, and he's got 15 seconds to do it in. He's got the first, the second, looking for the last one, the money ball, the payoff, and he gets it to go.
Well, some good shooters there from the Missouri, so we'll get to see what Kansas has. I know we've got a few guys that are pretty prolific in their scoring as well.
Right.
Surprised Keaton Wagler didn't drop his name into the hat, but
Well,
you know,
I
he's
think
got
it
a
was
lot of accolades. Over
That's
the years,
exactly right.
so I don't know if that was a courtesy thing, but there's several guys that can put their name in this best
Absolutely.
shooting competition. It's pick your poison for both sides.
Talking about potentially next year having one for both the boys and the girls, and then the winners
Yeah.
for one at the end. There we go. Evan Riley, Shawnee Mission Northwest for Coach Birch. He's made a few shots in this very gym. He's got a smoothness to his shot.
Yeah, he's a really good shooter. We saw a lot of him, unfortunately. Luckily, the night he played in here, he was maybe 2 on.
Right. Class 6A honorable mention, All-State, 3rd team, Sunflower League. That just goes to show how absolutely nasty the Sunflower League is year over year, especially this year when someone like Riley is 3rd team Sunflower League.
Oh, yeah.
But honorable mention in 6A.
Yeah, he, I think it's one of those unfortunate situations where you're a really good player on a really good team, and,
Right.
the numbers are a little deflated on that. So a pretty good round from him. But, we've had that situation before the last couple of years at Mill Valley. Some of our guys, if they were on different teams, then, they might be, averaging 20, 24, 25 a game. But
100%.
But when you're on a really good team, you got guys that want to win, and how
Right.
you win is you get other guys involved.
Now here's the favorite. He's got to be the favorite, right?
Has to be the
Tyler
favorite.
Salmon. Shooting over 45% from 3 for his career, not just this year, but for his entire career.
Yeah, really big, really good stretch forward. We knew exactly where we had to be with him in our league, and You know, he hurt us in the state game a couple of times. And actually, you know, when we played them at their place the year before, I think he went on like a personal 12-0 run to take the game from a tie game to all of a sudden we're down 12 or 13 in a 2-minute stretch, and that's tough to do on a good team.
He's got 11. He's got 12.
Rack.
Gonna be close. He's still got plenty of time. 2 balls left. Squaring up. He's got a real quick release up top, kind of like Wagler does.
You know, and again, you know, shooting in this is a little different than a normal game, but because, you know, there's a whole art to it of grabbing the ball off the rack. So sometimes this is a good reflection of good shooters, but sometimes
The
not
Owl.
always.
Sorry, Coach. The Owl out of Olathe West
Yeah.
for Coach Brad Balsh. Ron Woodbury.
Son of a KU player. He's got the prodigy in him.
A lot of gym time with that young man, as evidenced in his stroke.
He's having a hard time finding it too.
Any of these guys, they put a couple of down, get into a little rhythm. Good things can happen. He's got 3 in a row. Is it going to be 4? It is. He's got 8, now 7 left. Still plenty of time. 9 points. There's 10.
Moneyball's huge. This whole rack's huge. Ooh, get it up.
10 seconds left. 3 balls. And the last one,
left him a little
short
short.
arms.
It's hard. You got to get 20. You know how many 20 shots here real quick.
Right,
And you're
yeah.
running between racks.
Now, how about this? How about the hometown favorite?
Save him for last. I mean,
Right.
He's my favorite. I'm a little biased. I don't think Coach Birch for the Kansas side is too fond of him, though.
Just shaking his head. There's number 2. Kafis 2 of 4 out of the first rack. Plenty of time.
Hold it.
How many shots has he made on this, Coach, over the this court over the
Oh, just so many.
the years, Coach?
We had him coming in as a freshman. He was getting there early, and he would just get a lot of shots up. I mean, that's how most of these guys are. Spend a lot of hours in the gym.
He's got a beautiful stroke. When he gets that ball up nice and high, look at that follow-through release, pointing at the rim. Look at that. 9. He's got 4 more left. He's got a chance.
Maybe this one.
Money ball.
Yeah.
In and
That's a good
out.
run. You know, and that's his thing. I mean, he's gotten taller. I think he had some growing pains the last couple of years, especially being young. You know, I think that kind of like a pitcher, when they grow, they lose a little bit of that control, a little bit of that touch. So we've got the Battle of the Avians.
Mr. Riley. Well, a little rock, paper, scissors. Oh, Shambo. And I think it is going to be David Riley starting first. The finals, bragging rights, the crown on the line. Looking for his first one here in the finals. He's got 1. Make it 2. Second of the second rack. And 3 now. He's starting to feel it a little bit. And using that first round as a warm-up. Now from dead-eye center. He's feeling it.
There he is. Oh, I think he liked that one. It felt pretty good.
From the right wing. Still plenty of time. 18 seconds left. He's got 4 to shoot. 4 balls to shoot, that is. Now at 10 seconds left. 2 more.
A little bit of gas running out here. Oh.
Yep. Kind of pushing it just a little bit. You just love to see the smile. They're out here having fun.
Yeah.
That's what an all-star game's all about.
I mean, this is the best of the city. I know these guys want to compete, but I think at the end of the day, they all want everyone to do well.
Oh, 100%.
Especially if everyone's going to the next level. Everyone wants to make it. So
Mr. Webb out of Staley High. for Coach Chris
All right.
Neff.
He needs 12. I think 12 was the number.
Misses his first. There's one, make it two. Money ball, a little bit short.
Gonna need those.
Second position, starting off hot again. Got 4, can he make it 6? He does. He's halfway there. He's got 12 balls to shoot. All kinds of time. There it is.
Oh.
Can't get it to fall. He's gonna set up again on the right side.
This is where your legs got to come in.
There it is. The next basket wins it. Is it gonna be? There it is.
Got it.
There
A little
it is.
extra on top.
Avian Webb is your 2025 A-10 varsity three-point champion. He's gonna take that title back to Staley High as he celebrates it with his team right now. And out of Shawnee Mission Northwest, Avon Riley is the runner-up, your top Kansas shooter for 2025. You know, we talked about how long was that going to take, Coach, and that was a pretty quick. I think they did a good job.
Yeah, that moved pretty well. I'm not sure have they done that before in one of these. I don't know. I know normally they do the dunk contest, but I know they had that the other night, and so it was fun to see something different, especially for shooters, because a lot of times those dunk contests you get the big guys, little guys usually get left out. Although I mean you got a few guys that can get up that are maybe 6 foot or under.
Just ridiculous, yeah. Some of these 5'10" guys.
Romello and Jalen, I know those two guys can get on the rim at 6 foot or whatever they are. So.
It's just ridiculous. So I think, are they going to just start playing maybe a quick little warm-up? They don't need a warm-up.
No, they don't need a warm-up. These are athletes. We'll get it running.
Kansas players are taking their position out on the court. Look good ale out of Blue Valley West for Coach Ryan Hintz. Out on the court, Jaden Lang. So we say goodbye, and maybe we'll see him a little bit later.
Yeah, I'm just going to run around. I got a lot of people to catch up with. So thanks for having us. Thanks for being here, and have some fun.
Absolutely, Coach Kurt Bangle, head coach of Mill Valley Boys basketball squad. Glad to have him on the broadcast. Glad and happy for his hospitality as we welcome back in AB. 9:46 left here in quarter 3. From the wing, Malik Lewis out of Blue Springs for Coach Adam Jones. He's going to be a Bulldog down at Truman State following his high school career.
Now we got a call going the other way and some banter between the referees and the Missouri side.
Oh, and if only the regular season games could be this lighthearted. Here's Leo Gaiman pushing it up. Launching it is Xavier Kirkwood out of North KC. Xavier's such an athletic shooter. He can get it done from anywhere. There's Woodbury.
Big time shot. Now Kansas with the lead by 1. Oh, they gave it 2.
Cordell Williams.
Not sure about that.
Cordell Williams, and I've heard it from a couple of players, a couple of coaches as well. He might be the top player in the state.
It's a big title, but he might be.
Oh, that's great.
Might have been a foul on Gaiman there. Gaiman wide open down the court.
He wanted himself a little bit. He's going to almost get it in there.
There we go.
Puts away the bunny.
And that's how you end up averaging 18 and 10 this season. And he is great, and he has played that way tonight.
There's Lang. Something about this side of the floor for Jaden Lang. He loves it down there on the right side. I guess it'd be the left side of your screen, right side of ours.
DeSoto's finest, Jaden Lang.
Oh, Max Johnson might have an argument there.
He might.
Different styles of play. Coach George Good out of Ray Peck, Chad Jones, and Justin Leathers, both out of Park Hill. And Larry Fitzgerald, also out of Ray-Pec. And interestingly enough, a little bit of a tie between Mill Valley and Ray-Pec. Longtime athletic director Gerald Van Reen recently announced as the new athletic director at Ray-Pec.
Yes, he told me that himself.
How about that? Getting it, ooh, my.
It's the man who brought me in around here, Van Reen, so he shares
right?
some of the blame.
Great
There's
man.
Lang again.
Way up high. Nice. Jaden Lang is not going to be playing basketball, but he will be suiting up for the Mules as a football player down at Central Missouri State University. Now he's got a teammate, or excuse me, a classmate, Kinsey Farmer. The Minnesota girls team is going to be playing for the Mules. Be playing a little basketball. There's Lewis, Malik Lewis. The future Bulldog. Going to go up to Kirksville.
Smoked.
Getting up and down the court. I was just going to say at some point I would suspect we're going to have a kind of a substitution in mass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do we got here? Corbin Allen coming in. We've got Cam Jones coming in. Sully Mohammed, Mr. Eskew, and Romello Smith will be your next 5. For Mizzou, Cordell Williams out of North KC hits the 3.
Cordell Williams and as well as number 12, Romello Smith, really stood out for Missouri in the first half, as did Estes out of Oak Park. Specifically, Smith and Estes really filled it up towards the end for Missouri there, but Nick Anderson in the game for Kansas now.
Nick Anderson, he's such a silky smooth player.
And even us going against him, 25 points a game is a big number.
Right. Nick Anderson, the future Rambler for Loyola out of Chicago. And there's some interesting ties to Mill Valley and the Kansas City area around Loyola, Chicago. Of course, Clayton Custer, one of the greats for the Ramblers over the year. And Cooper Kafis.
Mill Valley
started
zone.
his, absolutely. One of the older brothers of Carter. And kind of an injury-plagued first 2 or 3 years for Loyola before I believe he went to Samford to finish his career out.
He sure did.
Yeah, you're exactly right. One of the all-time greats here at Mill Valley High. 5:40 left in quarter 3, 65 for Mizzou, and Kansas with 61. There's Salmon giving it off to Anderson, baseline turnaround, and
What you have here is on the Kansas side, the Northwest Cougars, those 4 with Nick Anderson, and you've got the Sunflower League against the Missouri side, and there are some great players on this floor, obviously.
Well, Coach, you've seen all these Sunflower League players, and I know a couple of the others from the Missouri side. You know, talking with Coach Bangle about just the amount of raw talent coming out of the Sunflower League. We got a couple of players that got 3rd team Sunflower League honors and then honorable mention at the state level, which is just, I mean, it's mind-boggling.
There's Anderson to the rim. And even in this game, they're going to call that foul, Sean.
You know what? Nick Anderson, and he's such a smart, all these guys are smart. You know, we're effusive in our praise, but it's certainly well-deserved. But Nick Anderson, you know, here he is, his instincts to use his body the right way, protect the ball, keep his defender away from him, draw on that opportunity to go to the stripe to shoot 2. Well, that's just a next-level play.
Sully Muhammad of Blue Springs South disagrees, but
Right.
they weren't listening to him.
Sully Muhammad, Blue Springs South Jaguar for Coach Josh Smith. Big 6'8". He's going to be headed through the JUCO ranks to continue his basketball playing career. 3-year starter, Blue Springs South. One of those kids that just has a great attitude. No matter where you see him, when you see him, always going to have a smile on his face, sunny disposition.
He jumped out right away in the warm-ups. He was dunking, and he might have been the one that broke the backboard, but apparently it was Moore for Piper.
Right. And Corbin Allen, he's another one of those guys, arguably one of the top players in Missouri, and missed a little one. You can see the frustration on his face, but he can write. He was a commit to the University of San Diego. He pulled that back. A lot of things changing, a lot of moving parts in the recruiting process. But as you talk to him about it, he doesn't know me for the next guy. As engaging as he is, he's respectful. It's yes, sir, no, sir. And he's just an absolute delight to have a conversation with. So many of these student athletes are the same way. And, just another thing to point at how sports has influenced their lives, working to be part of something bigger than themselves, being a part of a team. Oh, beautiful look.
Oh, my goodness.
Woo-wee.
There's
Sully.
Muhammad with the reverse there. That is incredible. And quickly back to Anderson the other way.
Well, it's got to be those crystal
Oh, my
shoes.
goodness.
Ooh, my.
And another foul on Sully there, but that's not his fault. That is a big-time move
All I can say
by
here
Nick Anderson.
at Mill Valley, Coach, the backboards are not fragile.
That's good. That's good.
Coach Bangle was talking about some of the Jaguars of yesteryear, like Gus Hawkins, 6'9", 487 pounds of him. He's not a small human. He's
No, he is not.
very big man.
And, K-State was happy to have him, and hopefully he is the next great lineman at K-State. But he will tell you how big he is, and he was big here. Anderson at the line. Watson coming in on the Kansas side, replacing Anderson here.
So we welcome in a special guest here to the DiRenna All-Star Game. Welcome in 810 WHBs and 810 varsities. Bethany Bowman. Miss Bowman, good evening. We haven't had you on the broadcast in a while.
Hey guys, what's going on? Good game here.
It is a good game, and I'd like you to talk about a program that I heard that you were really involved with over the past couple of years, and that is a cat rescue program. And as soon as we get a shot made here, I'm going to talk to you about that and kind of the background and how you got into that. J.J. Lee gets his big paw up there in the right time, right place. Look at there. Oh, beautiful touch. Can't get that to go. London Burton, though, thought about it. Jalen Watson couldn't do it. Here we go. Wow, put him on spin cycle. Romello Smith. He's absolutely nasty. There's Carter Cafis is going to slow it down. But London Burton says, nah, we can keep going. Here's Eskew. The dunk contest winner. He lost the handle. There's Corbin. Kaboom! Are you serious?
Wow.
Oh, that's a thing of beauty. I remember those days back when I was playing ball. Yeah, then I woke up. But hey, no, we've got Bethany Bowman here on the broadcast, and we understand that you're a big advocate for the Humane Society. And tell us, tell the listeners and the viewers, what kind of got you into that cat rescue program?
Sean, you do your research, man. That's awesome. I love it. Yeah, I mean, I've always just kind of been an animal lover. My mom, growing up, she has taken in every stray animal I think I've ever seen on the streets. So yeah, I think I kind of learned it from that. But my dad, he definitely didn't like that too much. Didn't care for it. But we have a lot of cats at home. Cats are they're kind of gross in a way. I'm not gonna lie, but they're really sweet. They just take a lot of care. You gotta. The litter box is not good for houses. Not a great smell. They're really furry. They tend to eat things and throw up a lot. I don't want this to be bashing on cats here, but
no. Absolutely. Hey, I can appreciate what you're saying. My third wife is a lot like that. So the good comes with the bad, certainly.
All this to say, they're really worth it, though. Through all that, they're really worth it, and I tend to try and take them in off the streets and at least find them a home if I can. So.
And Zeke Brown with the three, and Chad Rader of 810 Varsity WHB as well tells me that before you were a top broadcaster here in Kansas City, that you were studying to become a cat psychologist. Now, what programs around have a pet psychology major?
What programs? Well, I'm not real sure because I ended up not going that route.
Okay,
But,
all right.
I know there's a lot out there, and cats have a lot to say if you just know what they're saying. So.
I guess so. If you listen closely enough, they'll say exactly what you want them to say. Well, we appreciate you joining us here for a couple of minutes.
You don't want to hear anything about basketball?
I guess I think everybody that's listening is more intrigued by Bethany Bowman and your cat outreach program. But yeah, break this down for you. You've had the opportunity to not only see a lot of these guys play, but you've talked to them, you've interviewed a lot of these guys. How great is it that we have some of the top talent anywhere in the Kansas City area out here in the DiRenna All-Star Game?
Well, we've seen a few dunks already tonight, and I mean, these guys are athletic. That's the biggest thing I think that sticks out to me. A lot of them are going to be playing at the college level and a very high level, so really excited to see them go on, and I think some of them can make pretty immediate impact for their programs. Looked like the Missouri guys were going to run away with it early in a really nice comeback and now a lead for Kansas. So we'll see how this fourth quarter goes, but it's been a good one.
Before the game, I asked Bethany Bowman what her prognostication was, the final score, and she said it was going to be a low-scoring affair. She said 23-20, somewhere in there, but here we are, 79-74, Missouri by 5, the final 3 seconds. In the third quarter, back iron, no good. Brown with the rebound, and that is going to do it. We've got 3 in the books and 1 more to go.
Now, that was my three-point contest prediction, Sean.
The 3-point, well, you weren't exactly too far away. No, that was a nice treat, and there's a little bit of talk about potentially next year integrating a girls' 3-point contest and a boys' contest and have the winners from each contest face off at the end.
They should.
I think
absolutely.
A little more razzle to the dazzle. How about that? Well, we'll let you go and get back to what it is that you're doing.
Thanks for having me, Sean.
Bethany Bowman from 810 WHB and 810 Varsity. Always a treat to have you on the broadcast. Thank you. And we're going to take a real quick break. Are we? Probably should. All right, here we go.
My name is Bree McNally. I am actually a server downtown at Grunauer. Our 15-year-old son was in an automobile accident and he was taken by ambulance to Children's Mercy Hospital. So when I called Eric, he just, was upfront about everything, let me know what the process would be. So Eric was easy to communicate with. I could Facebook Messenger him, call the office, text him, and he was always super responsive.
All right, and we're back, 81-74. 9:45 left here until the final basketball game in Kansas and Missouri concludes. Hard to believe, but here we are, the 16th of April. What a stellar, really, it's been a sensational season on both sides of the state line. Looking forward to seeing the next group of stellar athletes progress over the coming year and seeing what they have in store when given their opportunity. My goodness.
Yep, and I noticed Missouri picking up the defense here, maybe winning time here in the fourth quarter.
These senior standouts from some of these schools, Piper, Washington, Blue Springs, Staley, all over the place. The hometown hero, of course, Carter Cafus, are playing in their final high school games, which is really, it's bonkers to think about how many games that they have played together, and not just in high school, but you go back to middle school and then elementary, and so many of them play AAU ball in the off season. But the finality of this game for so many of them, I'm sure it's going to hit them after the game, and this is it. This is the last game wearing their respective, in this case, representing their states. But at the high school level, this is it. We're certainly honored. Pleased that you've joined us here throughout the evening to celebrate the accomplishments of these student athletes and give them the opportunity to put on one more show for us. 9 minutes left in regulation. Oof, nasty turnaround.
My goodness.
Yeah, what more do you say, Jaden Lang? I'm a little bit disappointed that we're not going to see him play basketball in college. Now, he's going to do a phenomenal job playing football. There's no question about it. I think he's probably going to be a day one starter down there for Central Missouri State. He is just loaded with talent. And a quick
lot of
substitutions. 5 for Missouri. But with 8:43 left, I need to do a better job of going through some of the players here and letting you know kind of what's in store for them in the future. The majority of these student athletes will be playing in college, but a few of them elected not to play. And they're going to go either right into the workforce or the military, or you just go on into college without playing, and certainly give them a shout out the same way. Luke Goodale, Blue Valley West, he's been a treat to watch over the years. And Luke Goodale is one of those that would have an opportunity to play in college, but he is going to forgo that opportunity, and instead he's going to go right to KU, and he's going to pursue a career in business. Didn't ask him what kind, whether it was monkey or funny, I have no idea. But he is a 6A honorable mention all-state selection for Coach Hitz at Blue Valley West. Leading scorer, team's best player for that squad. Sticking with it, young man, Cordell Williams. Out of North Kansas City in his 19-point per game average. Back the other way, Xavier Kirkwood. Love to watch him play. What a treat it has been. So athletic for the shooting guard. He's got an ability to jump with anybody in the gym. Well, he's got those springboards in his shoes.
Man, the Missouri guards are just getting it and going right now.
Just crazy.
My goodness.
How about that?
Mortimer knocks it down off the transition.
Cale Mortimer for Coach Joe Price of Liberty. Averaged 20 points a game. He shot 46% from 3. Most threes in the city.
What's the call on that? We know what the Missouri side thinks.
Yeah, that's right. On the drive, the coaches are over here.
I love the competitiveness in this game, Sean.
Absolutely.
You love when the best players get together and play extremely hard. And you just don't want a game like this to get sloppy offensively, and we are certainly not seeing that tonight.
Right. 94-79. 14-point spread. Missouri up on top. 7:15, 7:14 left in regulation. Jalen Watson, number 2. We saw him just a little while ago. Nice little fall away by Webb again. Webb has suitors from UMKC. Shout out Coach Jake Cates down there for the Roos. Central Missouri, Graceland, Johnson County Community College. Look at the hustle. No foul. I know the coaches wanted it, but officials saying, hey, it's an all-star game. Come on now. We're going to let him play a little bit. There's Mr. Cafis,
there we go.
Two-handed. Flushes it down.
That away, Cardi.
Love to see that for the hometown kid. 17 years old, which is just ridiculous, by the way.
It's and I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the Cafis family on here as Carter makes that play. You got Connor, the oldest, and then Katie, Claire, Cooper, and I don't know if I'm getting the order right, but it's hard. And then the young man, Carter. And they are a legendary Mill Valley sports family, and particularly basketball. And it's hard to believe that we're seeing the last one here tonight and the last game, but it's great to see Carter make that play. And he is one of the great all-time winners in the history of Mill Valley basketball, obviously. And the Cafis family is just a huge part of Mill Valley basketball and always will be. So.
How about a shout out to Mama Cafis?
Absolutely.
Delightful young lady that she is. She is always. I mean, there will not be a game that she misses, and I know she has got to travel a long way. I know Claire played up at Marquette for a while and tried to make as many trips up there, but she has certainly been a fixture here at the Den at Mill Valley over the years.
Absolutely.
And not just supporting her family, her sons and daughters, but those that they are playing with as well. And a lot of respect out there for Entire Kafis family, but Mama Kafis especially.
Mr. Eric, too, as they call him.
Right. Mentioned Cam Jones out of Park Hill for Coach Chad Jones. 4-0 student. He's going to be going to continue his playing days at the University of San Diego. He's going to be a Torero. Ooh, Nick Anderson. I have a sense whenever I see Nick Anderson, when he kind of stretches out, it's like I expect to see like another body explode or something that's twice his size, because his arms just kind of keep going and his legs, my goodness.
It is amazing, and you cannot keep that kid off the free throw line. He just draws so many fouls and is so smart.
Now how about this matchup here? Two of the top players, if not the two top players, in both Kansas and Missouri. Wagler going against Corbin Allen. They're having a little bit of fun down there, tugging on jerseys, getting away with quite a bit.
Absolutely.
Refs certainly letting him play for the final 4:56 of this contest. Malik Lewis out of Blue Springs and Coach Adam Jones. As I mentioned, he's going to Truman State. Xavier Wilson still deciding between Washburn and St. Mary's. State Fair Community College. He's a Falcon for Coach Chris Neff. I heard a timeout. How about Wagler? Walking his way into the paint. Contested shot, but he still goes up strong.
Looking forward to seeing Wagler play in the Big Ten next year.
100%. Wagler, he's got a lot of that Kyan Evans out of Staley way about him, who's now, after I believe it was Colorado State for his first year, now he's going to be playing for,
Oh my goodness. My goodness.
Mr. Eskew.
Way above the rim.
Save some for everybody else. I mean, it was a delight to watch him in the slam dunk contest over at Aquinas, but he has had some even better dunks. And
whoa,
look at there. Oh, Smith. Hey, newsflash, he's only 6 foot tall.
That looked way too easy for 6 foot. That
way
was
too easy.
And when you look at him, 1,700 career points, you see
Right.
why, and a 4-year starter. Incredible.
Antrell Rand, number 34 for Kansas out of Washington High, playing for Coach Michael Green. Just a great kid. I talked to him a little bit over at Aquinas, and he's so humble. He's quiet. He's a 5A honorable mention selection, first team of the Meadowlark Conference. Still trying to determine where he's going to go and what he's going to do when he gets to college. But you think, you look at, well, here it is, the middle part of April. These guys got to figure it out. Well, there's still cushion. There's still plenty of time. There's still a lot of movement. We talk about the NIL and how that's changed recruiting. And going to be some players that will go pro, and there's that domino effect.
It all trickles down, Sean.
Indeed it does. Ooh, nice little hook up and around. Tyler Salmon, the future Ichabod of Washburn University. J.J. Lee mentioned he's going to be going to Hutch. Carter Kafis, no announcement yet. He's still kind of waiting for some things to shake out. He took a visit to, I think it was South Dakota State last week. But I suspect he's going to, here we go, Sully. Sully gets his own. Sort of like Oprah handing out dunks. And a dunk for you, you get a dunk, and you get a dunk. Nick Anderson says, I want a 3. Underneath, Wagler can't come up with it. Nick Anderson does. Finding a wide open Salmon. He's made that
Van
shot so many.
Collins.
Oh, that's a beautiful play. Love to see the finish by Mr. Collins. And Van Collins, 6A honorable mention All-State. He's going to be continuing his basketball playing career at Missouri Southern down in Joplin for the Lions.
They are getting a good one, Missouri Southern. He never takes a play off, Van Collins.
We talked about Mr. Wagler, Keaton Wagler. He's going to be going to Champaign. He is the Two-time DiRenna finalist, Kansas Gatorade Player of the Year, top 5 player, 6A first team Sunflower League, and the Sunflower League Player of the Year.
Say no more.
Even saying all that, it seems like, you know, there's so much more potential there. It's like, well, how many more awards can a guy get? Well, he's got pretty much all of them.
And then the 2 rings on the end of it.
That doesn't, that certainly doesn't hurt.
Oh my goodness.
Now, I'm not sure that I've seen a more nasty, a more absolutely offensive dunk by that young man, Kalinescu, out of Rockhurst. How did he get that high? AB, he started from the free throw line. That's Dr. JS.
It's incredible, and he caught it off the glass on the lob, and he's done that about 2 or 3 different times tonight. Maybe not from that far out, but it just remarkable.
And did you hear that kind of that collective gasp as it was happening? Like, oh, here it goes. And everybody knew it.
A lot of people in this gym have seen a lot of basketball, too.
My goodness. 106.
That Gaiman kid, again, he has had an excellent game. Not going to get a whistle this late.
That's exactly right. 108-94, Missouri. Make it 111-94. Final 124 here in the 2025 DiRenna Boys All-Star Game. And the shots are flying. The big plays have been happening all night. Jalen Watson is going to be, and he's obviously one of the top guards to come out of Kansas for Coach Adam Ulrich at Olathe North. But he's going to continue his playing, it's beautiful, at Wesleyan University. He's going to be a Cardinal up Middleton, Connecticut at Wesleyan University. Ooh, nice. Will Beck, he's going to be going to William Jewell.
Will Beck really turned it on this year in the Sunflower League for Shawnee Mission East. An excellent high school player.
Sully Muhammad, as I mentioned, he's going to be going the JUCO route. Final 30 seconds of the game. Leo Gaiman,
There's Cardi.
Look at there.
Let's
Bam!
go. All right, Cardi.
The cherry on top for the hometown hero, Carter Kafis. Showing us what we've seen so many times over the years. So much talent in number 42, and a career that's just getting started. He's going to get it up and in. Oh. Does not go. But after 4 quarters of play, we are going to go ahead and crown Missouri the 2025 DiRenna Game champions. Trophy again goes to the Missouri side of the state line. And a game that, despite the number of points, like you said it, AB, there was some defense played throughout the evening.
There was.
And both squads certainly were doing their very best to earn those bragging rights. Coach David Birch, Shawnee Mission Northwest, Alan Ulrich of Olathe North. The MVP, that is such, oh my.
I'd probably go with.
That's so hard. There's so many great players that have won so many other awards. So we'll have the announcement of the MVP of this year's DiRenna All-Star Game momentarily. Bethany Bowman, I believe, is part of that decision-making process. She's talking to Larry House, kind of the longtime ambassador for this game. We'll keep the broadcast right here until we have an official announcement. But AB, it's been a treat to have you with us here this evening, and hopefully next year we'll have opportunity to do this again a little bit more.
Yep, thank you so much, Sean. It's been my privilege to be here.
most outstanding player. Brian McDaniel is trying to pause the dunking right now for an announcement. Leo Gaiman out of Park Hill. Well deserved for that young man. And Jalen Watson, deservedly so, out of Olathe North, is the Kansas squad MVP. And there are the plaques being awarded. Mr. Gaiman and Mr. Watson being presented by Larry House, DiRenna Game Ambassador, Greater Kansas City Basketball Coach Association. I love to see that. Mom and dad out here. Hugs and kisses. Not sure why we never get kisses over here. I don't understand that. It's ridiculous. Well, AB, I said we do this again next year. Maybe same time or same place. What do you think?
To me. Sounds good to me.
Well, for everybody that's been a part of the A10 varsity journey throughout the year, including my man up top, Hayden Kilo, that does such a great job running the camera. Hayden is a Mill Valley junior with an amazingly bright future. I think he scored like a 42 on the ACT, and I know it only goes to 36. But he is just a fantastic young man. He's always at the ready, so I want to give him a big shout out. Obviously, everybody back at the A10 varsity mothership, Chad Rader, Nolan, and Reese as well. Shout out to them for keeping the squirrels fed and all the gears lubricated. Jim McClintock as well. Big shout out to Linda Roth, who turns 44 years young tomorrow. And little Charlotte Kilo, appreciate her great help throughout the year. Tell you, if we can get the camera possibly to shine down on the north side. Trying to get Hayden's attention. There we go. Might as well. Look at that. How about that? Might as well get a little extra, a little, as the kids would say, extra. A little bit of bonus time here, but we're going to sign off for now and put a pin on this, put a cherry on top, blow out the candles, as it were, for the 24-25 basketball season for A10 Varsity and A10Varsity.com. My name is Sean Brewer. Thanks so much for being a part of this journey. And a big shout out, obviously, to AB and one to David Trimble, my partner in crime. Not that kind of partner, but the other partner. He's a good guy and couldn't be with us tonight, but I know he's with us in spirit. So until next year, good night from beautiful Shawnee, Kansas and Mill Valley High School. Your final score once again, 118 for Mizzou and 98 for Kansas. Missouri, your 2025 DiRenna Game champions.